Hello and welcome to the Behind the Sign series, and today I am joined with Jeff and Jama Porter, and thank you both for coming.
Our pleasure.
Happy to be here.
And so you guys have been in real estate for a long time. How long have each of you been in?
I just had my 5th anniversary.
5 years?
And a little less than 7.
7 years. And Jeff and Jama both were crushing it individually. And within the last year, they joined forces, the Porter Team. Mm-hmm. And so we're really grateful for having them at De Novo. Tell us how it's been since you guys have joined together as a team.
I'll let you start.
No, it's
putting
been
the husband and wife on the spot.
Yeah. No, it's been great. We have very different styles, which actually is a very good thing for our business and for our partnership. Jama is extremely relational focused, as am I, but she really has an extreme gift for connecting with people, and she is definitely very well versed on social media and very ever present on social media. I'm a little bit more behind the scenes. I do a fair bit with social media with YouTube and previews and things like that, but I'm rarely on camera.
Welcome to the camera today, Jeff.
Hello, great. And I typically tend to be very service and process driven, coming from
Jeff is a machine.
30 plus years of
it's impressive
retail
to watch.
management. So.
He's highly routine.
Yeah.
And I am very on the creative, I would say. And
yes.
Yeah.
My routines are creative.
Your routines are creative. That counts. So for the husband and wife real estate team, you have some people in the industry that, they keep it separate. That works for them. You guys have now joined forces, so you've been on both sides of the table. What are some of the pros and cons? Any tips that you have for people considering joining forces?
Well, I got into real estate to work with Jeff. And when I told him I was getting my real estate license, he told me,
that's great.
He goes,
that's great. Good luck, honey.
You know we're not working together, right? And I was like, wait, what? I thought I'd be like a transaction coordinator for him, like all the behind stuff. And I'm like, no, I think you would like me to be on your team. I think we'd be good. And he's like, nah, not in a million years. We're never working together. and so it only took me 4 years to talk him into it. I wore him down, and I came over here to De Novo. I don't think he would have ever even remotely entertained it if I hadn't come to you, Garrett. And, and then he wanted to secretly, it was like a thing, a covert operation. In fact, I probably shouldn't say this, but Jeff, you don't even know this, but you would say something, you'd be disgruntled about something. And I'd come into the office like, Garrett, this is a good day.
Call Jeff.
Yeah, this is a good day to call Jeff.
We now have told our secret.
But anyway, but I knew because his skill set is completely different than mine.
Yeah.
And it's together we make a really great one unit, I think.
Mm-hmm. And you guys your business has exploded over the past year. Yeah. You're doing an insane amount, and you're working really well together. It's been fun to watch from the outside. So, and they always keep it. Yeah, you give us good laughs too.
Yeah.
So good combination of it all.
We keep it real.
Keep it real.
It's real.
Keep it real. That's for sure. We'll love to watch it. So we had a lot of industry changes in August of this year. How have you? Now we've had a couple months of going through it. What's been your experience? How have you felt about it so far? The goods, the bads, all of it.
I'll jump in on that if you don't mind.
Okay.
I mean, I think it's inevitable in any industry. You're going to continue to have change, and I came from a background where I did 30 years in retail management, and every single year for the companies, because I was with Walmart, I was with Target, and every single year you would have structure changes, you'd have policy changes, focus changes. So it was kind of like reinventing the playbook pretty much every year.
Yeah.
So when I came to real estate initially, it was kind of like, oh, wow, this is kind of like, it's like status quo and everything kind of stays the same and everything. And then changes started happening, and I was like, well, this is just kind of what I was used to. So it was just really something we just kind of leaned into it, and there's been a few adjustments that we've had to make.
I love change, and I love learning.
Thrive and change.
So, but for me, I gotta have a path, right? I gotta have mentally, how are we gonna present this? What is our stance on it? Because there's a lot of different ways you can do things.
Yep.
And we had a little bit of bumping on that, a little bit. Basically, I think from how we go about it, we just go about everything completely opposite, which I think is
good to
good
get
when
two
you recognize.
perspectives of
Exactly.
each. Yeah.
Exactly. So, but, you know, for me, everything is trial and error, right? Let's try this. And then nobody really knows how things are going to happen. And we're kind of new in the industry. We haven't been around 20 years and seen other types of markets. So, you know, let's try it this way, and then we can tweak and adjust. And I think as far as how it's affecting me, I think it's actually good.
Yeah.
I think it's actually a really good thing, all the changes that have happened.
Yeah.
So
There's been like some things you're like, what? Like this is kind of goofy or whatever, but overall, I think it's a positive direction.
Yeah.
And again, for two people who have, and you've seen your business grow a lot this year, and you have a lot of people in the industry who are shrinking, and that you say that out loud, like, hey, we're both great with change. Like, you're like, I enjoy change. I was used to change for a long time. And that makes a gigantic difference with when anything, I mean, every business has its changes.
everything evolves and
does.
changes.
And it's like if you can't adapt and
Absolutely.
can't change, like you can't grow. So you two are both a good testament of like, no, we're like, let's do change. Change is cool. Let's keep it.
and I think our generation
keep
too.
it
I think
rocking.
you know we're not spring chickens, right? And
You're both spring chickens.
and you know, and so but we have been changing all along. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, to date myself a little bit, we had typewriters in junior high and high school, and I think keyboards came out
typewriters.
my senior year in high school, right? So
They
that
don't know what a
gives
typewriter
right. He doesn't
is.
even know what a typewriter is. But so we've had tons of change that you have to constantly evolve. But I think that's what keeps you, you know, young.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, absolutely. So, real estate industry, it's a hyper competitive industry. You guys have been growing a lot. What are some of the things that you feel have given you a competitive advantage, and where do you, differentiate in your strategy from, you and versus other agents?
I think with us, it's a unique situation because we are different with our styles and our approaches. And I think, Jama really leans into the relationship piece, and, we both do. I mean, she has a very organic way of connecting with people and leaning into the relationship piece. I'm a little more introverted at times, so I have more of a kind of a process-driven way of reminders to help me make sure that I'm connecting and adding value to all of our clients. And we don't have past clients; we have clients, and we're
clients for
always
life.
clients for life. And we're always reaching out and trying to ensure that we're adding value, and if letting people know that we're there. If they have questions, if they need connections for tradespeople, different things that they've got questions about, we're there to provide answers and solutions for them. And we have no expectation of anything in return other than just to maintain their friendship and that relationship with them. So I think that's really helped us to continue to develop relationships with people in a very competitive market. And then from a process side of things, I'm all about really knowing what the trends are, what's going on with the inventories, what's available, what are different properties that would be good fits for different people that we have that are looking for things. So
he definitely micros on the
I'm
the
kind of like a
inventory.
super shopper of the inventory.
But
I'm
I
always-
am
I'm
a
always
bigger
looking.
picture. I'm the one getting designations. I'm the one who is involved with the state and going to guard, and I'm very involved with the board, and I'm on leadership in the board and things like that. So I'm really looking at it from the community perspective, from the state perspective, from the global perspective.
Macro and micro and
for
the
sure.
combo, the two.
But we answer our phone. I would say if you really want to know some specific
Yeah.
things, we answer the phone, and we're busy. We're both busy, but we both know what's going on with all of our deals, right? And so we answer the phone. Like we text them and say, we'll call you right back. We're in a meeting or whatever. So we're quick to answer. And I've over and over again, I don't know if this is a good thing or not, but I think it is. A lot of our reviews, we hear how patient we are. It's really not about us at all. It's really about the client, their experience,
Focusing
and their
on
needs
them,
completely.
their problems, and solving their problems.
Yep.
And I think both of you, like with saying that, you have, like Jama's very education driven, and you're both always learning and looking for ways to improve things, and it's like this constant desire to like, how do we improve things? And I think that's made a huge difference for you. And like you said, they're in kind of different areas, like Jeff maybe always like, how do I improve this process? How do I do this process better? And then you're, bigger picture, learning about what's going on here and what's going on at a bigger level. But it's like this, constant desire to improve. And that makes those little things compound over time. And that's where you're like, I just get 1% better in each area.
Yeah.
And then it over time adds up. And you're like, okay, I'm good now. I know what I'm doing, and I'm always learning and evolving.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yep.
We're never comfortable though.
Never comfortable, yeah.
Yeah, we're always
looking.
Yeah, if we get
always moving. We're never complacent.
This was our busiest year, but we also went on 3 vacations.
Yeah.
3 vacations. We went to Sweden, Alaska, and then the Bourbon Trail in Kentucky.
Yeah.
And then that's not including me going to Guard in Nashville for a conference and different things like that. So, I mean, that's pretty significant. We renovated an entire room, our kitchen.
Yeah.
All in our
That's
busiest
a lot.
year.
So you got a lot going on.
But it's been great though, because we like being busy, right? We like that.
How do you feel work-life balance? Feel like you got a really good handle on it? You got any tips or anything for the audience?
I think that we do work a lot. We do stay very busy, but at the same time, we are very vigilant to ensure that we are there in the moment with our families, with each other, and that we're there. I mean, we're there for those special moments for our kids, for our grandkids. And
there's a saying.
You have the one day a week
pop up at GG night Wednesday night
pop up
tonight.
Tonight.
The activity for tonight is to decorate our Christmas tree. But so there's a saying that if you love what you do, you'll never work another day in your life.
Yep.
So we do work a lot, but we actually love what we do.
Yeah.
And there's times I'm working in my pajamas. Like it's not like I'm in the office working, the whole time or whatever. But like he said, we have if we have to watch a grandchild because the parents or they're sick or whatever. I mean, you're doing that today, aren't you? Like before we get pop up and GG night. Like we do that all the time, and because we have a flexible schedule, and because we tag team each other, we can easily do that. But then we also take vacations. That was one of the things that was really important to us this year. Was like we have got to take moments to vacate, and have a
And when you do things in intentional, like the Papa and GG night, it's like that's like this is the one night a week for the family, and it's like you're intentional with it, and that's I think always a big difference for the work-life balance, where it's like you can be spending time with someone and you're just like people are staring at their phone, but you're like, this is the night where family comes over, we're watching the grandkiddos, and we're putting some intentional time into
because our kids are grown.
Yeah.
Right. We don't have anybody at home. And to me, the work-life balance thing it's not true. Balance means things are equal. Harmony is really what it's about, right? Because you're never going to have equal time and sleep equal time and all the things, right?
Yeah,
and it's harmony. And we just design our life how we want it to be. We don't really compare ourselves to other people.
Yeah.
We just do
Everybody's
our own
got
thing.
their own story and their own way to do things. So
Yep.
So like I've said so far, you guys have had really big growth paths, but I think everybody in the industry that does it long enough, you go through periods of ruts or or burnout or anything. So how have you dealt with any ruts or anything they've gone through in real estate so far?
So we were actually in a little bit of a lull. We were in a little bit of lull in terms of closings and whatnot. And it's just the process, right? You just keep doing the process.
Trust the process.
And it happens, right? So we had a killer first quarter last year, this year, and the process. He is process driven, and so we're already seeing the bubbling again. You know what I mean? The bubbling up again. So we don't. I mean, it's just a process, and you can take time off.
Yeah.
There may be a little lull. That's okay. And of course, like you said, perfecting our systems, and so that way, when we do take a little time off, we can maintain.
Yeah.
And I mean,
the thing that comes to mind for me is that the relationships and the routines are paramount, and I think that really helps us a lot. And then I think we have a resiliency between us as well. If something isn't quite clicking, then there's probably a root cause of some sort, and it could be something. More macro, where it's like an economic thing or what have you in the greater picture of things. Or it could be something where we need to make a little tweak or adjustment with our routines, with our follow-up, with how we're connecting with our customers.
Yeah.
So I think we don't just ever sit back and say, oh, it's this, it's that, oh my God,
We have an
just
abundance
kinda-
mentality for sure,
Yeah,
not a
that's-
scarcity mindset.
That's
we keep moving.
And yeah, using the word resilience is like one of the things I've always said is like one of the most important qualities when it comes to business in general, but specifically real estate. And you have people that like, they go through a rut and then they get bummed out from the rut and then they complain about the rut. And then it's like, those are the things that
You're
are just
reinforcing
going
the
to
rut.
make the rut deeper and deeper, and you can't get out of it when you're doing that. And when you're like, this was a bad month or whatever, or a bad 3 months or whatever, it's like, stick to the fundamentals, keep doing what works. If something's not working, figure it out, move forward.
And I'll take a class or a designation too.
Yeah,
That is
like,
something that I will.
I'll
Like,
learn
if I feel
during
like
this period.
I'll go in and learn. And every time I do one, it lifts the lid on my thinking.
Yep.
I'll be in the class, and all of a sudden, like my brain will just be rattling. I'll be writing notes of what I'm going to do in my business. You know
Yep.
what I mean? And it just rejuvenates me.
And that's a really good tip in general too. It's like, if you are going through a rut, sign up for a class, go do some training. Is it because the people that get into a rut when they're like, then they don't show up for things. They don't sign up for other things because they're like, no, I got to like figure out how to get a deal. And then they're just like thinking about the whole time. They're not doing anything. It's like, no, go to learn something that inspires you or keeps you back on track. And that's a great tip for people going through ruts. I think it's like, take something at the board, sign up for a class online, go to your office training or whatever. But like, it puts you in that work mode. It gets you thinking about things. Your brain starts spinning. You jump back on track.
Yeah, because when you're in a rut and you start looking within yourself, that's the worst place to look because you're the one lost.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Looking within yourself, you're not going to find that answer.
That's the truth. Yep. Yep. Jumping back specifically into the real estate industry, want to do kind of a fun one. Whether it was the strangest or just an exciting one, what deal comes to mind? Like, I had this really bizarre deal where all these crazy things happened, or just one that was real exciting. Tell us about, walk us through one of those.
I think probably our most exciting transaction this past year was also our biggest. It happened to be our biggest transaction. It had the most moving parts to it. It was a deal that was 6 hours away.
Mm-hmm.
It involved 10 apartment buildings. It involved a gentleman who put a lot of trust in us, and I think rightly
Lives
so.
out of the country.
Lived out of the country.
That's a tough,
and
all the way across the board.
Yeah, and it was in a tertiary market, so population of less than 8,000 people buying an apartment building. So there was like a lot of moving pieces to that one, a lot of research that we had to do on that one that Jama and I did on that about the local community, the local economy, helping him to line up different
Jeff
tradespeople.
actually added a buffet there. Jeff doesn't do buffets.
You ate at a buffet. That is definitely
I was
out
like,
of
wow.
I'm
Yeah.
a bit of a germaphobe.
out
so
of
yeah,
character.
Buffet eating
The
is not
buffet.
my
How
best.
was that experience?
It was good. It was good.
You felt okay about
I
it?
felt okay.
I have a great one though too that just
Chinese
sticks in mind.
buffet?
No, this is country. Like this is
Okay.
down home good, and it was really, really good.
Okay.
We're talking cobbler and catfish and
the good stuff.
yeah, the good stuff. But
Simultaneous closed ones. We had a couple.
well, I was going to talk about the deal that we actually did together when we were at different brokerages. You had the buyer, I had the seller, but I'm talking about when my buyers bought it. So there was this house in Satellite Beach, and actually DeNovo had the listing. And I wasn't at DeNovo yet, but we go to, people were living in it. It had a big swimming pool, and we were touring it, and in the swimming pool was 3 koi fish, 2 snook, and a tilapia, saltwater and freshwater fish swimming together in this pool, right? And I looked over to the left, and there's this giant mangrove growing out of the shallow end, and I was like, oh my God. So my buyers wanted it, but they said, make sure you put in there that they have to get rid of the fish because they were worried about the snook being illegal size. And I'm like, I'm not putting that in the
Illegal
contract because there was
size.
20 people were bidding on it, right? And this was like one of my first deals. And I said, well, I remember that my mentor at the time was like, there's 20 people bidding on it. I said, well, somebody's got to win. It might as well be me, right? And we did. But then I had to hire our daughter's fiance's brother to come and get the fish. So he first tried fly fishing. That didn't work. They had never seen bugs because they were fed dog food for 20 years. And
These fish were?
So no, he had to use a cast net to get the snook out, and he would catch one and run it to the ocean, let it out. It probably got eaten right alive because it was,
Shark ate him
yeah.
real quick.
And then it was so much muck so then he had to come back with a spear gun to get the tilapia. So that was probably my most interesting, fun
yeah.
thing. But it was an amazing
rehoming
transformation.
Some fish.
Yeah.
Like the gopher tortoises.
Yeah, it was interesting.
Those are wonderful to deal with. Yeah.
That is fun.
Yeah.
So, real estate. Give us one myth that you would like to bust about the real estate industry. Something that people think is true, or they say, commonplace about real estate, where you're like, this is
to get rich quick.
This is
Well, yeah, I think that's a very
easy.
common misconception is, I'm going to ease into real estate and I'm going to work a little bit
Part-time.
part-time and, make some good money
Couple
and everything.
$100,000 part-time.
It just doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to be fully immersed in it.
Yeah.
And
doing this business part-time.
You can't make a living,
not gonna
feed
happen.
your family
Yeah.
part-time. Can't do it.
Yeah.
not going to happen.
Yeah, you got to be committed. In the, statistically, I think it was 87%, I don't know, 3 years or something, but don't make it. People get their license and start doing real estate, don't make it out of the first, year or two, whatever the statistic is, but it's super high fail rate. And you got so many real estate agents, it's a hyper competitive market. And yeah, when that's definitely a myth that is not true. So, yeah. Last question for the day. What's the most fun or unexpected way that you've gotten the lead in this business?
I thought about this question, and I'm sure there's probably another one. But for me, I was in direct sales, cosmetics, so basically selling lipstick. And so when I got into real estate, I didn't make a big announcement that I was in real estate because I thought nobody is going to want me to sell their house because I sold lipstick.
My identity was
I thought they surely, selling a lipstick and selling a house, actually they're the same in terms of sales and the skills, but knowing how to sell a house and the stuff with that is a whole lot different.
Yeah.
So I remember I had this male customer that I had met because I wrecked my car and he was a body shop guy that did it. So for 20 years, I would make baskets for his wife and his daughter when I was in this other business. So anyway, on social media, I'd post, do an open house here and there, and he saw I was doing real estate. And so he called me up one day and he said, hey, would you come over? I'm thinking, not right now, but I'm thinking about selling my house, but I'd like to get an idea of what I should do to get it ready. And would you just give me like an evaluation? I'll pay you for it. And I said, no, I'll come over. I'd be happy to come over.
Yeah.
But I was shocked that he called me, right? So I go over there, I do it. We eventually list it. And I asked him, I said, so I'm just curious, because you know what I did before. For 20 years, I serviced you. He goes, it's because of how you worked your business. I knew that you'd be excellent at this, and you don't do anything halfway, and I was just, it gave me such a great feeling because I really thought everybody would look at me as a lipstick lady versus somebody, and it really, so that was a surprise to me. Like, and this was a man too. It wasn't even somebody that was usually my and I just thought, wow, that is really, really cool. So that was a big experience.
It's a good point and a lot of people who, especially people that are just getting into the business, getting going, and they're lacking that confidence, and it's like when you've like established like who you are and your work ethic, and people get to know that, and they're trusting that relationship with you because they know you take this serious, you work hard, you're going to do a good job when you hire me. So that's a good testament to that. Yeah, awesome.
Yep.
Well, good stuff. Yeah. That's the Behind the Sign series today with the Porter team. Thank you both for coming. That was
our pleasure.
Thank
you
great.
So much.
Thanks.
Jeff's on camera today. He's pumped. Thanks,
I
y'all.
was telling Jeff's filming because it's way up here. And I always have to,
it's just
like
from up in the clouds where Jeff is.
We're in a regular condo, and I'm like, okay, just remember he's 6'7" because it makes it look like that's like a tiny house,
That's
I have
funny.
to give that disclaimer.
Awesome.
Anyway, thanks.
Good stuff, y'all.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.